Hi, my name is Christian Posta. I'm the Global Field CTO at Solo.io. In this quick demo, we're going to take a look at the ID-JAG draft spec and putting it into practice with Okta as our enterprise identity provider. And we're actually going to federate with a resource that we control in this demo, but it is secured with a different identity provider, Keycloak in this case, to illustrate the cross-domain or cross-app access flow. Now, the one catch with this demo is that the draft spec gives you two options for asserting a user's identity and exchanging that for an assertion grant or an ID-JAG. The first is to use OIDC and single sign-on with OIDC, and you take an ID token and you exchange that on the enterprise IDP for the ID-JAG. And the second profile is to use SAML assertions. In this demo, we're going to do the SAML-based flow, but in the draft spec, you'll see that when you use SAML assertions, that you first exchange the SAML assertion for a refresh token. And then you use the refresh token to exchange for an ID-JAG. So let's take a look at our sample. First, we'll look at our Okta apps. You'll see here we have our Okta SAML application, and that is set up. We have a resource here that we specify, and we have set up and enabled for cross-app access. So in our sample application, what we're going to do is we're going to log in with SAML, and we'll log in with the user. So here we're authenticating the user. Forgot about this part here. Let's get the we'll get verified here. Type in our password. If you use Okta, you're probably familiar with some of this here. And now we see that we have been logged in. Here's our result. And we get two options. In this demo, we're gonna show you the full flow, and the application of the client controls the orchestration of the ID-JAG flow to get the full access token. So we're going to click get the ID-JAG. So what this is going to do is it's going to call into Okta, and it's going to send our SAML assertion. You can see that so here's the SAML assertion. We are authenticating the client using a JOT bearer and client assertion. So we're using private and public keys instead of client secrets. We're doing a token exchange here, and we're requesting a refresh token from Okta. Now, in the response, we do get the refresh token, and we see that that's the type. So the second leg now to get the ID-JAG is to send in the refresh token. But here you'll see we're asking for an ID-JAG that is whose audience is Keycloak, or the cross-domain authorization server. All right, we'll do the same thing. We're using public-private keys instead of client secrets, and in this case, we'll send in the refresh token. Now, the interesting thing to note here, when you're requesting an ID-JAG, either the SAML flow or the OIDC flow, you are requesting scopes on the resource that you're trying to access. So these will map up with the resource that you're trying to access. And the response now we get is an ID-JAG, we can see here, from Okta. And this is a real token. You can see how Okta creates the ID-JAG and the claims that you have here. We are using the entity profile, the OAuth entity profile, so you can see that this is not only a subject, but what type of subject it is. Here it's the user. But here, our actor is the AI agent. And you can see the token has been minted for Keycloak because that's the resource authorization server, and we'll do that exchange to get the access token. So now let's go ahead, and now we have the ID-JAG, and we come back here. So we have the ID-JAG here. Now we're going to exchange that as a JOT authorization grant on the resource authorization server, on Keycloak in this case. So let's go back here and we'll click exchange this at the Keycloak side. So now we send this in as a JOT bearer. Oh, no, this is a, oh wait, this is the ID-JAG stuff, sorry. Now we call Keycloak, right. So we call this as a grant of JOT bearer with the ID-JAG. And we do get a response. We get an access token, and we're not presented with any consent screens. All of this is managed and controlled by the federation between the two identity providers, and on the enterprise side, depending on the scopes that get allowed or whether or not it's allowed. And so all that's managed there. And then you can see the actual Keycloak token here is issued by Keycloak. We have in this case, the scopes that have been requested, and then we can now use this token. So if we actually take it, it's just an echo type service that we call, so you can see exactly what token gets sent in here. And if we take a look at that token, you can see this is indeed the Keycloak token. It's been issued for a particular resource, and the scopes that we requested. All of this, like I said, was managed from the enterprise IDP. So if you would like to see a full write-up on this, I will be publishing a blog here shortly, and it'll go through all the steps to set this up and run it yourself. In the next video, we're going to take a look at how do we simplify this client. There's a lot of steps that the client has to do. And with a lot of the customers that we work with, they want to focus on simplifying this client and do something more like this, where the agent, all it has to deal with is either its identity or the user's identity, and we'll just let the infrastructure handle some of this this mechanical token exchange stuff that needs to happen to be able to call the external resource. So to keep a lookout for the next video.